How are y'all living? Waiting on every. Whoop, hold on. Let me turn this down. Hold on. Wait. Let me turn my microphone down. How y'all living, man? Y'all come on in this room. Y'all hop on in here. Everybody hop on in. Glad to have you guys tuning in live right now, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have y'all tuning in. Let me see. We got a lot of people coming in already. Hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. Y'all know it's the holiday season, MLK holiday this week. So hope everybody is celebrating that. We see a lot of the usual suspects mad. Notice how some of the usual suspects are kind of trying to throw grease on our good brother MLK's birthday. They're making little snide comments about the Civil Rights Act. Some of the right wingers were talking greasy about the Civil Rights Act. They were saying that the Civil Rights Act was similar to the Treaty of Versailles. Basically, like they're almost saying that the Civil Rights Act was an act of surrender by the United States to Black people, because they understand what really went down in the 1960s. It wasn't Black folks walking around marching and singing Negro spirituals. Black people were turning up. And the usual suspects are very aware of this, and they feel like they took an L in the 1960s. So we need to watch these spaces and listen to the rhetoric they're spewing about this. Real interesting dynamic. We're going to take some calls a little later. A few things going on. By the way, you guys can go get your Rootwork deodorant at rootworkstyle.com. Also, get your children's book, The Hidden Heroes from A to Z. You can get that book at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. Another announcement now, starting next month, we're going to stop people from posting these broadcasts on YouTube, because what's happening is we try to do exclusives, and then when we do these lives and these broadcasts, they're scattered all over the place. So we're going to have to kind of get that organized. So starting February, we're going to stop the repostings of our broadcast. We're going to have to kind of get things a little organized, because people get them and chop these things up, and then it's just all over the place. And it throws the algorithm all off, and it creates a cluster flop for us. So that we're going to kind of put the brakes on that starting in February. But I digress. Now, listen, we're going to take some calls a little bit later. First of all, before I get into chopping it up, my Memphis people, shout out to my Memphis people down there in Memphis. Allegedly, rapper Yo Gotti, his brother got, they hit him. He got unalived. Unfortunately, allegedly, this is what they're saying. I think some of the news reports are saying this. So rest in peace to that brother, and condolences go out to Yo Gotti and his family. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. And, there's rumors going on. And one of the rumors in the streets right now, from what I'm hearing, and I don't like to spread rumors, some people are saying this is possibly some type of retaliation for the young Dolph situation, because the brother was clicked in with Dolph's, the suspect who got Dolph. It's something like that. It's something like that. I don't want to spread no rumors. I'm just kind of relaying a little buzz that they're saying out there in Memphis, that it was some kind of possible retaliation for the young Dolph situation. And it's unfortunate either way. Either way is very unfortunate. So condolences to everybody down there in Memphis. I love Memphis. I want to see us empowered. And, the streets happen. The streets are the streets, man. The streets happen, unfortunately. And that's just what that is. You know, Mark Lamont Hill, he made a video addressing the criticism he received. Y'all remember, like last week, Mark Lamont Hill responded to Cameron when our brother Cameron was like, "Hey, man, I don't see myself as African American. I see myself as a Black American. I just like to use the word Black. I'm not really African." And the delineation movement is real. We have a real heavy delineation movement, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, we have our own culture," which we do, and we're acknowledging and appreciating our foundational Black American culture. There's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of people feel bent out of shape by that. And Mark Lamont Hill did a video. Oh, we can't give up Africa. That's, we can't give up Africa. This and whoop de whoop. And people were like, "Hey, man, you know." A lot of people got on his bumper about that. Culturally, we're not African. We're foundational Black Americans. Now, genetically, we have African DNA, and we acknowledge our African ancestry, but culturally and ethnically, we are a distinct group. There's nothing wrong with that, like other people. And he made another video addressing ADOS and FBA. He made a video today and he was kind of explaining a little bit. And I don't like when people do the conflation of ADOS and FBA. I don't like that. And the reason why they do that is because people understand Foundational Black American is a lineage. ADOS is a group, and that's an LGBT led organization. Okay. ADOS is a group, and they know that. They know Foundational Black American, you're strictly speaking on a lineage. And that has been explained ad nauseum over and over again. There is no organization called FBA. There are no leaders of FBA. There are no chapters of FBA. I'm not the leader of FBA because FBA is not an organization. Repeated that multiple times, I'm going to stay repeating that. Unfortunately, Strappy and those dudes sat there confusing everybody, talking about ADOS is a lineage and it's an organization that they're the leaders of. And that's why so many people stepped away from that, because the confusion still resonates. And it's framed so janky, it just sullies the water. Okay. And whenever we start talking about lineage, they want to start talking about groups. And they always have to try to attach ADOS to Foundational Black Americans. It's not the same thing. We got to be clear. It's not the same thing at all. ADOS is a self-proclaimed organization with leaders. They have people who are the leaders of that organization, and they are loud and proud about their leadership, which is fine. Knock yourself out, but it ain't a lineage. Lineages don't have leaders. You don't have the leader of the Puerto Ricans. You don't have the leader of the Yorubas. You don't have that. That's why we say Foundational Black American. There is no leader. There is no organization. You don't have to go to a meeting. None of that shit. You ain't got to sign no paperwork. There are no paint and sips and none of that goofy ass stuff. All right. We're talking lineage only. That's all it is. So Mark Lamont Hill was talking about the criticism he received and just doing a lot of explaining. We can acknowledge who we are. And I wish, if Mark is in here, by the way, if Mark, and I'm not trying to beat up on Mark. Mark was respectful as he could be. I'll give him that. He wasn't disrespectful. And if Mark Lamont Hill is in here, he can pop up here. We can chop it up with him. We can have a great conversation. We can chop it up just to bring clarity to people. But the whole narrative was like, well, we shouldn't give up on Africa. We can acknowledge our African ancestry and whoop de whoop. And listen, genetically, yeah, and I've said this multiple times. Yes, we acknowledge our African ancestry. We do. That's fine. That doesn't change the fact that we're foundational Black Americans. We had an ethnogenesis. We are a new ethnic group. We became a new ethnic group. We became a new ethnic group, just like some of the Yorubas and the Igbos and the Jamaicans and the Trinidadians, they became distinct ethnic groups outside of the African identity, yet within the African identity. You get it? It's outside of it, but it's still in it. You're still a person who's descended from Africans, but you still have your own unique, distinct culture. Speaking of Trinidadian, y'all see a video where Nicki Minaj and people kind of got on her bumper. She was like, "Yeah, everybody wants to be like us, and everybody copies us, and we," and she's just using all this we and us, and we're like, "Oh, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about?" Because they love to brag about being Caribbean and Trinidadian, and so who are they talking about? So people like to pick and choose when they're going to be on the global black tip, and then distinguish their own ethnic group when that's convenient. So there's a lot of schizophrenia going on out here. And us delineating, we're drawing a line in the sand so that your schizophrenia doesn't affect us. We're letting you know what our group is, what our designation is, and we're letting you know what the culture is. So people are not going to be able to remix us. I put up a tweet earlier, if you guys follow my timeline. It was a Nigerian tether who lives in Dallas, whose whole timeline is basically denigrating foundational Black Americans going back about a decade. He's just calling us all types of Akatas. Akatas left and right. Now he's complaining that we're delineating. These FBA niggas are trying to deny Africa. Niggas, stop. People are schizophrenic. See, the thing is, we're delineating on our terms. See, people like to delineate us on their terms, which are derogatory. People sit up here and other us in a derogatory manner. And when we say, oh, yeah, you know what? We are different. We are a different group. And we're going to take our differences and our culture and bring that over here and acknowledge our culture, and then let you acknowledge what you got popping, which is nothing. So we're gonna let you hold your own nuts. And then, oh, wait a minute, wait, nigga, wait, we're all black people under the eyes of Allah. Then it's cop and please. You see, when we start to delineate on our own terms. Hold on, we got this person, Leecha. Okay, Leecha, you've been in here trying to get attention, making all types of emoji posts. You probably don't have anything to say, Leecha. You want to hop on, Leecha? Because you're really twerking a lot in the emojis. You're twerking real heavy. So if you want to turn your microphone on, hop on and say whatever you have to say, sir, which is probably nothing. But again, there's nothing wrong with us delineating, because every other group delineates, and then they try to delineate us on their terms. And we're not letting them delineate us in derogatory terms anymore. We're not letting that happen. And speaking of that, did y'all see TMZ put up a clip of the dude? Remember the Nigerian dude who got offed by his white OnlyFans girlfriend, which is very unfortunate. Nobody is gloating or celebrating the offing of anybody. Okay, that's a horrible situation. Don't want that to happen to anybody. But the way this white woman was disrespecting this dude is this kind of a long clip. I mean, she's just really degrading the dude, yelling at him, and he's copping pleas. Baby, I'm not thinking about anybody but you, baby. And I'm like, man, dude, you should have been charged her to the damn game. FBA brothers don't want white women that bad. She would have been charged to the game a long time ago. FBA brothers would have been like, hey, we can go find us another white broad. It ain't that damn serious for you to sit up and let this woman just degrade you like that. And the thing is, the guy who was victimized by the woman, unfortunately, this guy, him and his family, remember, they were all on Twitter for years denigrating us. Him and his family. And that's why that situation was so controversial, because when the white woman took him out, people start looking at his social media, and instead of criticizing the white people who degraded him and the white woman who degraded him, he was copping pleas for white women. Where the white women at? Talking greasy about sisters, calling us all types of akadas, and not just him, his whole family was doing that. The whole family social media was them just denigrating foundational Black Americans for years. But when the situation happened and they weren't arresting that white woman, remember, they didn't arrest that white woman for a long time. It took them a minute. That family was all in our FBA spaces, copping pleas. They were all in our spaces. Hey, we are the, hey, brothers. Hey, my niggas. You know, we are the same people. See, I don't like that shit. I don't like when people sit up and denigrate us and then run to us for help when things go bad. You know, that's why they don't want us delineating, because see, they want to keep us around to fight for them. That's why people call up here asking us to get into the Palestinian Israeli situation. No, 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 no. We're delineating and letting everybody fight their own battles. We are not about to be mules for everybody so they can turn around and denigrate us. We've done enough. Now it's time for us to do for ourselves. And people try to shame us for looking out for ourselves, which is all they do. Everybody in every other group, they're selfish as hell. They look out for them. They set up these little enclaves in their communities and exclude us for any resource they get. The minute they get a dime, they make sure we don't get no access to it. You see? They make sure we don't get access to it. Who's that? Those Hollywood actors who's out here getting all of these roles? Which actor was it? It was one of them British actors. They they get nothing but FBA roles, and then they start talking about, well, we're gonna set up a program so that um, African and British actors can go to training school or whatever. They start setting up some stuff for the actors overseas while they make their paper over here. They set up something over there for them. You know? Remember Bothan John when he got offed by the white woman? His family set up a damn Caribbean scholarship fund for people for Caribbeans. Remember? Some of y'all forgot that. While they were all in court hugging on the suspect, or the convicted suspect, they sat up there and got all of those donations and then started having a Caribbean scholarship fund. People, when I'm telling you, when they get $1, they go out of their way to make sure we don't get it. But let us have a Juneteenth program or a Juneteenth grant. Boy, they're going to be first in line to try to get it. We all the same. Yeah. So we're not playing that game because we're going to acknowledge our lineage. We're getting things for the people within our lineage first. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's get some of these people in here. What's up, Dat Nika? This brother's name is Dat Nika. Hop on, Dat Nika.
Hey, what up, Tariq? I just had a quick question for you, bro. What words do I say to those people at those flea markets? We have an antique flea market here. I live in Alabama, and we have a two-story flea market. What words do I say to get that old paraphernalia you was talking about? You know, the forbid. You know that they don't want us to see this old paraphernalia. How they
Yeah,
look at us.
right. As for the Americana
The
stuff,
Americana.
yeah, they'll know what you're talking about. Yeah, we want to give me some of the Americana items and
Thank
let
you,
me know
sir.
what they got. Let me know what they got because I want to get some of that stuff for the museum. They hide a lot of that stuff and they keep it for their cronies. But let me know what they got down there.
Bro,
All right.
I shit you not. I live in Montgomery, Alabama, bro. So like that's
Oh
why I
yeah.
be wanting to know what, because you know this is like the boys boycott Cradle of Confederacy. It be motherfuckers from Iceland coming here just to see where Rosa Parks refused to go up and see that, bro.
Oh
So
yeah.
and we got a big ass flea market. And I didn't, you know, growing up as a shorty, I used to go to that place, bro, and they had like old revolvers and all kind of old, you know, trinkets, but I know, like, I heard your space one night where you were talking about that Americana stuff that you talking about, those old Shango Macho. That's actually
Yeah.
what it's called. That's Shango Mucho. That's Shango. They got Shango, but it be in blackface and shit like that. But they call it Shango. And those old
Oh yeah.
gollywogs and stuff like that. So yeah, appreciate that, bro. Be
Thank you,
safe,
brother.
bro.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. The those racist memorabilia items, boy, y'all don't understand how big of a market that is. That's a huge underground market. These people trade and sell all of that racist Jim Crow memorabilia. Boy, they sell that. That's like gold to them, dude. That's like gold to them. They pass this stuff down in their families secretly. I give the usual suspects that. Boy, they know how to keep secrets from us. See, black folks blab every damn thing. These folks in the dominant society, they can keep some damn secrets, dude. And boy, they stay on code. I remember I was in Georgia getting some stuff for the museum. I was going through different antique shops. And I told this story before. First of all, I went to one antique. Well, I was trying to go to one in Kennesaw that had a whole bunch of racist stuff in it, but it was closed. I went to another one. I want to say, was it in Gwinnett County? I forgot. And I was getting some stuff, and they had some of that racist memorabilia. And it was one racist um, metal license plate they had some cat in blackface on it, and the guy took it from me. He was like, "Yeah, let me go check the price on this," and then went somewhere and never came back. His ass went somewhere and took it and hid it somewhere. He never came back. He just took it. Yeah, let me check the price on that real quick, and I never saw him because this was kind of a big, kind of a flea market joint. So he went and put that up somewhere. He's like, "No, this is for my white buddies." So it's interesting, man. But yeah, and I say this again: if you guys live in these towns where y'all can get some of that stuff, please get it for me and send it to me so we can put it in the museum out here in LA. We like to collect that stuff just to let folks know what the get down was. Let's get command, command, command. Hop on. Waiting on command. All right. It's not working good for command. Let's get Shango. Let's get Shango in here. Let's get Shango. All right, Shango or command, whichever one who want to speak first.
Family, this Shango.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I just got to just based on how we'll continue to get on code. Do you think that when we get more codified and making ourselves more harder targets, that they'll start targeting immigrants and the melanated immigrants because they can't really get to us like that? And that's it. I'll end.
Well, they use them as they're useful tools for right now. The melanated immigrants are useful tools, and yeah, they will get rid of their useful tools. They will do that. But again, they're the ones who help put some of the melanated immigrants in the position they're in. So they've already been targeting them. They target
Right.
them in their homeland. Um, but they let them over here because they know they're going to use them as buffers against us. Now, at some point when they feel like that's no more useful, they will probably turn on them.
So like the
And
anchor babies,
yeah,
the anchor baby and the descendants of those who can't trace their lineage back. Because I look at it like this: they're trying to go at us like they did the Tasmanians, and that's not really gonna happen like
right,
that. You know what I'm saying? They really trying to get us off of this landmass because they want this landmass to be their ethno state. I mean, the world's already their ethno state, but America's supposed to be their new world, and we kind of threw a wrench in it for centuries. So they're trying to, this is my opinion, they're trying to bring over the field Negroes, the global field Negroes, so to speak, to undermine us and to kind of make a part in an apartheid state of the 21st century using the blueprint of South Africa or what they did in the continent. And we're the only ones really throwing a wrench in their end game, if you will. And thank you again, and I land there.
Thank you so much. See, we got to understand, man, how systematic white supremacy works. And our brother Claude Anderson spoke on this. It works on like a totem pole system. It's a buffer class system. There's levels to it. So you got to have the person on top, the group on top, the groups in the middle, and there has to be a designated bottom group. So Black people, we're supposed to be the designated bottom group. There's always supposed to be deprivation, antagonism, abuse, um, um, torture geared towards us, nonstop injustices placed on us. And it goes from lighter to dark. Um, the white supremacists have the honorary Aryans, which are the Asians, because they share the same continent, Eurasia. So they put them second, and they have no problem being second. See, that's the thing. A lot of these other groups have no problem playing second fiddle. Then you get the Arab groups who have no problem being third. Then you start getting the Hispanic groups who have no problem being fourth. And then you have the immigrant groups who are melanated who have no problem being fifth. And then you have the foundational Black Americans, and we have a problem. We are the ones who always have to rise to the top. You understand? We're the only group that has had to repeatedly rise up over and over again after being knocked down. No other group has done what we've done historically as foundational Black Americans. We're the only group of people who get knocked down repeatedly, and we get up and rebuild, get knocked down, rebuild, get knocked down, rebuild, without fleeing in large numbers. We don't do that. That's why we're so problematic. They see what we're capable of. They know how we get down. That's why people have to study us all the time. All eyes are on us. The people, as we don't have systematic power, notice everything is about watching us. And when I say us, I mean foundational Black Americans specifically. People watch what we eat, drink, how we dress, how we talk. Every little intricacy is studied on us. Family, do y'all know? And I talked about this before. I met a sister who broke this down to me. Corporations, man, they have marketing organizations and marketing firms that they hire to sit online and watch what we do. That's they're people who are paid. There's an industry of people who get paid, companies who get paid to have people sit up and watch what foundational Black Americans do on social media so that they can learn trends. They see what we're talking about, see what we're doing, and then start modeling their products or some of their advertising towards that. They see what we're wearing, they start modeling and tailoring their clothing to that. They just monitor us all the time. You see? You go to Asia, all of these places, they're dressed like us. They're studying us. I was in Fiji. You had people over there, some of them wearing hip hop style clothes like foundational Black Americans. Some of them getting haircuts like us, getting their hair cut like us. That's why they show me so much love over there. Show me mad love, mad respect over there. Yeah. We're studied heavily because we get knocked down and we keep dusting ourselves off over and over again. No other group has done that. When we build up a town somewhere, and we built up several towns in this country, got knocked down, got back up. When we built Wilmington, the white supremacists attacked it, we just go build somewhere else. We talk about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. We had a bunch of Black Wall Streets. We had a bunch of them all over the country. Hastings Street in Detroit. Central Avenue. That was a form of Black Wall Street out here in Los Angeles. The thing is, they would throw freeways right along our areas in order to upset the business areas. They did that all around the country. They had to go out of their way to sabotage our stuff, so we just go build somewhere else. it leaves a trail of devastation, but out of that devastation, we build up. In the Bronx, New York, they devastated the Bronx. That was the white supremacists devastating that, taking all of the resources out of it, taking the economic base, taking the jobs out of it, taking the music programs out of it. Then you had these scandalous landlords bombing the buildings, firebombing their own buildings so that they can get insurance. So the black people are sitting up there in the Bronx left with rubble. And out of that rubble, they said, hey, you know what? Give me those 2 turntables and that microphone. I'm about to spit something in this park right here. And we still created something that was a global phenomenon out of that rubble. We created hip hop. And once it became a global phenomenon, now you want to tack other people onto it. That's why we're fighting against this whole jive ass narrative that it was some blacks and Latinos. No, you don't get that. You will never get that accolade for something that you didn't create. We had to get it out the mud because of deprivation on our own. That's why we had to create hip hop. Nobody else was helping us. We couldn't get in the clubs in Manhattan. We couldn't get into no music programs. You couldn't get into decent housing. So you had to take what was there, some turntables and a microphone and your mama and daddy's funk records. We took our mom and pop's funk records and rhymed over them, and then did some brand new funk dances and created a culture on our own. Nobody's going to share the genesis story of what we created because we went through so much and suffered so much in order to create it. Nobody's going to get co-creation as far as that. Let me get my brother Black Alpha Network in here. Let's get brother Black Alpha. Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Man,
sir?
I'm fine, brother. I want to say something to your point about all these people watching us and copying us. Family, did you see the Palestinians having a march on Washington today?
Oh, Lord, no. Oh, God. What was that
Brother,
about?
they had Muhammad Luther King. They had Riyadh Parks.
Did they have baklava Rustin?
They were all over the place, brother. All over. And you know, brother, they were literally chanting, no ceasefire, no vote, which is a takeoff of our no tangibles, no vote, brother.
Wow. These folks, man. And that pissed me off when they went down to that church in South Carolina with that. Boy, they've been trying to piggyback off us nonstop.
Left and right, brother. I wanted to tell the family that, you know, on Monday, January 15th, right in Columbia, South Carolina, they're going to have basically a civil rights reenactment. Kamala Harris is going to be there. That Hakeem Jeffries guy, I call him Barack Obama 2.0. They're going to be there. And me and brother Marcel Dixon are going to be there. You know, I want anybody in the surrounding area, come on down to South Carolina and let's let our own voices be heard and not be drowned out by everybody, man. But salute to you, my brother.
Thank you so much. And my brother Black Alpha brings up a great point. This Monday, for the holiday for our good brother, Dr. King, there's going to be people trying to hijack that. We got to check that. There's going to be people trying to latch on their stuff to the holiday. They're already starting. So here we go. All right. We about to see a whole bunch of co-opting on our brother King's birthday. Here they go. They're already getting it ramped up. Man, listen, FBA, we ain't got nothing to do with none of that stuff. Don't let these folks try to drag their issues on. We ain't got nothing to do. We are not obligated to stomp for none of that stuff. Ain't nobody stomping for us. Ain't nobody doing jack. So let them hold their own. They have to, again, we have the moral legitimacy that no other group have. We have the moral capital that no other group has. That's why on their own, they can't get any traction for their movements on their own, because these people, they have a history of doing a lot of scandalous stuff. All of these other groups, they have long histories of doing real janky stuff. So when something backfires on them, everybody's like, well, hey, stuff happens. But us, we've been legitimately aggrieved and we've stood up to it, and we've not mistreated anybody as foundational Black Americans. We haven't mistreated no groups. We don't go out committing genocide. We don't go out invading people. We don't do that. We've always, as foundational Black Americans, we've always fought and sacrificed ourselves for other groups. They've not done that for us. Remember during the Korean, not the Korean, but the Vietnam War, you had people like the Black Panthers and sacrificing their lives, speaking up against the war. You had Muhammad Ali sacrificed his career. This man was one of the most famous people, not Black people, just people in the world at the time, sacrificed his career to say, hey, I'm not going to go over there. I would rather go to jail before I go over there and harm them people. That was big. That was a devastating blow to the war effort. No other group would do that for us. Yeah, nobody has that kind of moral strength other than foundational Black Americans. We've always had that. And these same groups that we stand up for, they come and turn on us. Have we been doing that since the 1800s? And I talked about this before when the United States was having the war over there in the Philippines, over there slaughtering the Filipinos. The United States government over there wreaking havoc. It was a foundational Black American soldier fighting for the U.S. Army, a brother named David Fagan, said, hey, this isn't right, because they were calling it the nigger war. They were calling those Filipinos niggers. Because remember, over in the Philippines, over in that area, the Negritos, the original people, are like dark-skinned Black people. You go up into the mountains of the Philippines and that area over there, these are little Afro-wearing Black folks over there. I just left Fiji. Fiji is not too far from there. Y'all saw what they look like in Fiji. A bunch of beautiful Black people with big afros walking around. That's all over there. The Philippines, Fiji, New Guinea, Australia, all of that, Melanesia, all of that, Samoa, Tahiti. Truth be told, all those Pacific islands and Melanesian islands got little dark-skinned, Afro-wearing Black folks over there, truth be told. But David Fagan, foundational Black American from Florida, he said, nah, y'all, this is the nigger war, hell. No, that's not cool. And y'all committing genocide. These people don't really have weapons like that, and you're killing them off. Nah. So he defected from the U.S. Army and went over to the other side. He went over to the Filipinos and said, hey, look, I'm going to teach y'all guerrilla warfare so that you can survive. And he helped stop the genocide over there. He defected, and the U.S. government was pissed, and they never caught him. They took an L with that dude. Then he lived as a maroon up there in the hills and mountains of the Philippines. Gangster shit. That's another thing, too. When foundational Black Americans and just Black people, period, when we fight back, like our brother Professor Black Truth said, when we fight back, we win. And I've always said this, and I said this the other day, the white supremacists are light work. They really are. Our problem is the turncoats within us and among us. That's what gets us all the time. When we have the white supremacists on the ropes, it's always the butter biscuit buck dancers who come along and mess it up. That's been our problem. The buffers. Because see, the white supremacists, they understood how to create buffer classes, and they know how to create coon classes. They were like, look, we'll throw you an extra batch of butter biscuits if you just stand next to me. See, that's what they did in Jamaica. That's what they did in Haiti. After the Haitian Revolution, you had a bunch of those bedwenches and bedbugs who missed the French. They were like, when the Spanish and the French and Dessalines beat all those folks and got them out of Haiti, remember, you had some riders, but those coons and mammies and bedwenches, they were like, well, damn it, where's Zaddy? You killed Zaddy and White Mommy? Oh no, I got to get revenge. And the coon class started turning on the Haitian riders. That's what got Haiti back bad. The coon class, even in Jamaica. The British started making deals with the coon class, with Kamala Harris's lineage. They went to them, well, some of the coon class that were mixed in with the British when there were fighting going on, and the rebels, the Black rebels, were down there fighting. Some of those zaddy loving bedwenches and bedbucks went to the British and said, look, listen, if you give us certain privileges and benefits and you look out for us, we'll keep these ashy Negroes off you. Just give us some benefits. Give us a little plot of land over here. Just kind of elevate us over them and we'll keep them off you. And that's what they did. They had all types of racial caste systems out there in Jamaica, and that quelled all of them rebellions. That quelled everything. That's why they come over here with all that damn colorism. That colorism, when you see people talking that crazy colorism talk, usually they're from the Caribbean somewhere. They realize how to use that color system against the population. That's why the cake soap game is so heavy over there. People run around looking like Vibes Cartel. You see? Oh, goodness. Let me see. We got a lot of folks in here. Let's get Alistair Fennell. You raising your hand, brother? Hop on, sir. Alistair, I can't pronounce your name, but go ahead, brother. Hop on.
Flex, Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, brother. What's on your mind?
Yeah, brother. I want to ask you about this, about ADOS, because I was wondering if the founder who originally started ADOS, Norris Sheldon, if he's suing Yvette Carnell because she took that off of him originally.
Of course. Right. I don't know if he's suing her, but yeah, that's what I don't like about it. They took the thing from Norris Sheldon and didn't give the brother his credit. I don't like that. You give people their credit. Yeah, that was created, well, the term, he called it descendants of American slaves, and I think the strapping them just moved some letters around. But yeah, they took it from the brother and never gave him credit, see? And that's dishonorable. Because I always said the term foundational Black American, it was something that I got from Dr. Claude Anderson. I've never made any secret about that. I've given Claude Anderson all of his props. The whole delineation movement, people think it started with me. It did not. It started really, for me, with Dr. Claude Anderson. And there's an interview that me and Claude Anderson did on my broadcast. Was it 2016, something like that? I'm gonna have to play that clip one day where we were talking about, he was telling us about, hey, us sitting up here trying to do something for Africa, we can't do that. Shout out to Africa, whatever, but us trying to get over there and connect and build something, that ain't happening. We got to get it popping over here. You dig? We got to get it popping over here. We can't really get nothing. I'm gonna play that interview. Can somebody find, if I go back to my archives, I can find it. I'll probably play it on tomorrow's broadcast. I'm gonna play that tomorrow. Thank you, All Star, for reminding me of that. But I'm gonna play that. But again, the point is, man, I give props what props to do. Dr. Claude Anderson has been for decades talking about how Native Black Americans, we are a distinct group, which is true. His book, A Black History Reader, which I used to promote on my broadcast all the time, it goes into that and breaks it down. So all I did was kind of tweak the language a little bit, because when we said Native, and I would say Native Black American all the time, people would think we're talking about Native American. Sometimes they would get confused. And as Neely Fuller said, we got to alleviate all confusion. We got to make the language so tight that there is no confusion. And I saw whenever I used the term Native Black American, that would kind of confuse people. So I said, let me tighten it up. When I mean Black American, I'm talking about foundational Black American, the people who are the foundation of the United States. And that just caught on because it makes more sense, and it's something that cannot be remixed. That's why so many people get frustrated with it. See, people come in, they try to remix ADOS because you got a lot of Caribbeans. Well, I'm a descendant of slaves. I'm in America. Belize is America. Remember that Sambo we had the other day who called up talking about Belize as part of America too? See, yeah, the tethers, we got to make things tight because these tethers are looking for any opening. The tethers and the white supremacists, they're looking for any opening with any word. See, the word game has to be real tight. So they'll be like, well, hell, Haiti is America. Jamaican is part of the Americas. So I'm an American descendant of slave too. I'm supposed to give me some reparation too. So they'll try that. But what they can't do, when you say foundational Black American, they cannot remix that. That covers a whole bunch and it locks out a bunch of stuff. Because when you say foundational, that means the people who didn't flee. If you fled here from anywhere, you ain't foundational. That locks all of y'all out right there. The minute you say foundational, that alleviates everybody except us right there. Yeah? Because if you fled from somewhere, by definition, you are not foundational. We are the only group that did not flee from anywhere. We've been 10 toes down from day one. And that's a designation that other groups don't have. And that's where a lot of the vitriol comes from. That's where a lot of the big hatred comes from. That's where a lot of the anger comes from. And speaking of anger, where's T.S. Giselle in here? T.S. Giselle in here making all types of gestures. T.S. Giselle, hop on.
Tip, tip, tip on hardwood floors. 10, 10, 10s across the board. Face card never declines, my God.
Oh, Lord, okay. Oh, okay, I didn't know that you were a rapper. Okay.
Tariq, that's Beyonce. You need to do better.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Hello.
You're the notorious big back. But go ahead, what's on your
That's what
mind?
we're not going to do. I done told you about lying on the sides of my back. I've already validated that
Okay,
it's not big, and we're not going to do that. Okay, so
ma'am. Oh, go ahead.
um, before I have a political question for you, but I always gotta get my, you know what I give. Um,
Yes.
so I heard that D Tupman is retiring. So, girl,
Okay, no, just go to ask your
Tariq,
question.
let
Stop
me do what
talking
I
about the.
do.
You always try. No. You're always trying to take shots at the women in here. We're not doing that. No.
Okay, so
But go ahead. What other question?
well, before I get to my political question, Tariq, I want you to quit getting on Beyonce's internet telling these lies. I'm very
What
proud to
lie am
be
I telling?
Black American, but we are not a perfect lineage, as we say. We're not going to act like Black people don't commit crimes, and we are most certainly not going to act like
Didn't
colorism.
say that. Didn't say
We're
that.
most certainly
Didn't say
not going
we
to act
didn't.
like colorism is not a striking part of our culture. Okay?
No, it ain't. No, it's not.
Anyway,
No, it's
that's
not.
not why I came up here.
Go ahead.
You tear my nerves up when you do that stuff. Um, so to
Why is your TV so loud? By the
uh,
way, are you in a hotel, Motel 6 somewhere, doing something strange for some change?
now
Turn that Motel 6
I've
TV
already
down,
told you
please.
I'm a 58th floor type of girl. Equinox,
No.
Equinox
You're on the
Hotel,
first.
Hudson Yards. That's me.
You're on the first floor at the La Quinta Inn, next to a damn black
Listen,
and white
when
TV.
you were out of
Turn
the
it down.
country, so was I. I was on an island also. Okay, so let's not.
Right, Skull Island. Skull
I'm not
Island was
April
fine.
Showers. I'm T.S. Giselle. I'm
No,
58th floor. Okay.
leave eight showers
Connie
alone. But go
Collins
ahead.
is
Go
and it's the La
ahead.
Quinta. It's
Leave.
not La
No,
Quinta, it's
no.
the La Quinta Hotel. Okay? Now you do this with me every time. I came up here to have a serious conversation with you.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Take a deep breath. Okay. Um, so Tariq, I'm a politically astute person. Now I don't know if you are, but you act like you are. So the national election 2024 is a presidential election year, which, of course, traditionally the Iowa caucuses kick off the presidential election. Um, for 2 years, we've heard butter biscuits, catfish nuggets from the Democratic Party, withhold the vote. We want tangibles. I want tangibles. Like I want my tens, you want your tangibles. Tariq, I've not heard any tangibles from the Republican Party. I hear a lot of reparationists say that they're considering voting for Trump or withholding their vote.
Right.
My question is more so of a personal question, if you want to disclose. as of today, where are you in terms of the presidential election in November, in terms of who you're voting for? I'm a solid vote for Joe Biden. That's clear for me. So I'm curious as to where you stand. And then let's fast forward to November and say that once again, the Democrats win 88% of the black vote. That means what's preached in space has failed with black reparations withholding their vote and not voting Democrat. So if that does happen again, what is the now strategy for the reparations grassroots movement? Thank you.
Thank
T.S.
you.
Giselle, every girl's dream, every man's fantasy.
Oh, Lord. In other words, hold on, wait. In other words,
I got titties at the top and dick at the bottom. Now you know up front, so it won't be a fucking problem. Titties at the top and dick at the bottom. Titties at the top and dick at the bottom. I got titties at the top and dick at the bottom.
all right. So that was T.S. Giselle. All right. So anyway, again, and I've always had the same position as far as voting. I'm voting for who's going to give foundational Black Americans tangibles. That's who I'm voting for. If there's nobody who's going to give us tangibles, I'm not going to vote. I'm voting for the couch. And the Democrats, they already have a campaign talking about Black folks are going to vote for the couch. That's me. I'm a couch voter. That means stay home. Because what you do is delegitimize the process. If it's not benefiting you, you delegitimize it by staying away from it. If you legitimize a system by participating in it and it doesn't benefit you, you keep justifying your own deprivation. And I refuse to do that. Okay, no, don't put your pictures up, and I don't want to see all that. Lord, Tears does. Will you please? I'm trying to make a point, and I'm looking up, and there's that big back, and I don't, it's throw me off. I don't want to see that. But you don't legitimize the system if it doesn't benefit you, and they need us on that treadmill. You see, because they understand people who don't have faith in a system will not legitimize that system, and then they will start creating things on their own by osmosis. We're automatically thinking in terms of what we need to do on our own, and I'm good with that too. Either way, we're going to be good. Either way, we're going to be good, because if we dip out of the process and we dip out of supporting that system that doesn't benefit us anyway, then we'll start looking towards each other, because we're so on code, looking in terms of what we need to do to build for ourselves. And that's what they don't want. They don't want us thinking like that. So that's why they keep trying to get us on the treadmill. They keep trying to finesse us with these little janky deals. Well, look, we got a Black woman on the Supreme Court. Ain't that good for something? No. No, we're not doing any symbolisms. Symbolisms, that's not going to work. Let's get Tasden.
Tariq, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So I just wanted to, set the record straight when we talk about, you know, Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell and Sheldon Norris, because there's been like accusations that there's some misinformation being put out there, and I just needed to clear that up.
Okay. What's
So
some of the
initially,
misinformation?
initially when I started Tasden in 2015 with the 12-point plan I had for reparations for a Black agenda, the street urban wear campaign, all of this that was co-opted by, initially it was co-opted by Antonio Moore. And then he recruited Yvette Carnell. And then what they did was they got Dr. Darity to come on and kind of cover up them co-opting the information, the 12-point
Wow.
plan, um, the urban streetwear campaign. Because if anyone's familiar with those two individuals, they had a web presence way before their ADOS, co-opting ADOS, or co-opting Tasden's information and then renaming it ADOS.
Oh
right? The
wow.
first time I came across Yvette Carnell was when she was attacking Minister Farrakhan on Boyce Watkins' page about, the 10, when he was asking for the 10,000, brave men. And then she said, well, we have it good over here in the United States. We're not like Africa or the Caribbean. The minister shouldn't be requesting 10,000 warriors because he's going to start a race war. And from my understanding, Antonio Moore has a present that goes back to 2012. Now, Mr. Norris, and not taking anything from him because it's a fact that since 2004, he's had his web presence, which I found out after the whole debacle with Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell. But I
Yeah.
would ask their members, why is it if Mr. Norris had his web presence since 2004, what took them to 2017 to come together and launch ADOS? What was that, the catalyst that made Antonio Moore recruit uh, Yvette Carnell, and then for them to go and recruit Professor Doherty to kind of say, oh, yeah, this is where we got the information from. He's
Mm,
the expert that we got the information. What took them to 2017? And I make this point not because I want to take credit. There's some misinformation about that too. Well, you just wanted to take credit. Ultimately, the goal was to bring the diaspora together, because I studied this for a year. This wasn't something I launched willy nilly, overnight. This was actually a project that I started in college, where I studied the demographics of Black people in the United States, and I seen that 20% of Blacks in the United States were from the diaspora, were from Jamaica, and all over the Caribbean, and that we were going to need to come together, right? Because they could ultimately be a monkey wrench in the plans if we did this from a separatist movement. So it was
hmm
for African Americans to get our just dues first, which is only right because we provided rights and protections for everyone else, and then to be a cascade effect here in the United States and then throughout the diaspora. So that was my problem, was the division that was created based on that group wanting to identify themselves by their moniker. It was more about, we did this, look at us, than it was actually about accomplishing a goal. So
Right.
that's where the frustration came from. Now, secondly, good fences keep happy neighbors. There are a lot of legitimate points that are brought up in regards to the diaspora and them sabotaging the African American community, and also barriers and the different rules that need to be set, because there's a lot of off-code behavior and everyone knows this. So
Yeah.
there's definitely barriers that need to be put up, and there's definitely rules that need to be laid down, and a lot of that is coming out of these movements that we see. But once again, this co-opting of Tasden from ADOS, and the remixing and the sabotaging, this LGBT group that was out there, and then they kind of moved in and created ADOS, and even now we see them in different organizations where there's still these agent provocateurs, and they're
Yeah.
causing chaos, and that just needs to be set straight. And I'm all about the truth. And like I said, I give that brother his props because nobody can deny it. But this is the truth about the movement of Tasden, and them co-opting and ADOS co-opting Tasden. And I would ask all of their members to ask them the lineage of ADOS, and how did it originate, and how did those two become co-owners or co-creators? What makes them co-creators? Where did it start at? So I just wanted to leave it at that point. Also, I'm looking forward to microphone check,
Yes, sir.
and keep doing a great work. Thank you.
Thanks so much, man. Good information, brother. Real good stuff. So yeah, man. Yeah, you're taking stuff from folks, and this, and took this brother's information. I give people credit. Shout out to that brother. I believe, give people credit. Shit, I ain't no egotistical dude. Dude, I don't give a damn about being the leader of nothing. You know, I tell people all the time, hey man, I got the game from Claude Anderson. That's who I give props to. Claude Anderson laced me with the game, told me the truth, and really woke me up to a lot of stuff. That's the Godfather. That's my mentor. I've had that Claude Anderson in my movies since 2012, over a decade ago. Legendary brother. I give props what props are due. And then when I came up with the term FBA, Foundational Black American, I don't give a fuck about no props. That's why I wasn't like, I ain't a leader of nothing. We don't need no leader. We're talking about a lineage. Let's go ahead and get some work done. I'm your mama. You're strapping them running around talking about they somebody mama. Come on, dude. I'm y'all mama. Why would, oh God. You have these people out here. There's always people running around here wanting to be leaders, talking about they somebody mama or big papa. I'm Big Papa. That's ego deprivation. These are people who are not used to any kind of notoriety. They're not used to it. I'm used to it. I've been on television and in the public eye since the 90s. I ain't trying to impress nobody. I done been there, done that. I just like to get work done. I'm not nobody's big papa. I ain't your mama, your daddy, none of that goofy ass stuff. Let's just get some stuff. Let's get things done. Let's build some things. You ain't got to follow me. Just follow logic. All you got to do is follow logic. That's it. Don't follow me. Follow the logic. Follow what makes sense. No, you got to follow me to Africa. All of that stuff. No. And a lot because the delineation movement, and I think a lot of people gravitated toward because we put it out there like that. Just follow logic, and people said, "Hey, that makes sense." So that's why they gravitated towards it because it just makes sense. I'm like, let's do what makes sense. That's why we're getting the progress that we're getting now. We're making a lot of progress. We have our tangibles being discussed on a national level. We haven't gotten this far in years. Yeah. And notice the people who are very upset. Notice the people who we always see trying to sabotage our cultural movement of us acknowledging our foundational Black American culture. Look at the people who are always upset with it. Um, Same groups, foreigners and Pan-Africanists. Because see, what happens is we made that Pan-African thing dry up. That whole thing where everybody's supposed to move to Africa somewhere and all that, nah. And for some reason, and by the way, some people have said that I've been a Pan-Africanist. I love Black people globally. I've never been a Pan-Africanist talking about we need to move to Africa. We need to just give it up here and move. I ain't never been on that. So don't nobody lie, whoever you are. Don't lie. I ain't never been on some we need to leave here and move to the motherland. And no, I ain't never said that. I'm like dual citizenship, just like how they do with Israel. You know, people can go and build and you still have your homeland, but you have a place to go and build with other people globally, something like that, where we can try to have minimal white supremacist interference, something like that I'm down with, just go back and forth. Dual citizenship. I've always been on some dual citizenship thing. But not on some, hey, let me just pack up and just go to another country. No. To an African country? No. Because it's where you're going to go. You dig? Miss Trinity, hop on, dear.
Hey, Tariq. Good
Hey, Miss,
evening.
how are you?
I'm great. Good evening, family. Peace, love, power, and reparations.
Yes, ma'am.
We were speaking about terms and whatnot, and I just was wondering if you could kind of give a brief lesson on the term freedman, because honestly, I didn't really hear the term until I heard Marcel and Miss CC Freedman mention the word. And also, I love the hashtags on the space, and I encourage all the family to also add delineate now as a hashtag to their profile.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But
um,
let me go into the freedmen thing. That's been a term that was used after the Civil War. We were freedmen. We were when we were freed, we were in freedmen. They had the Freedmen's Bureau and they had the Freedmen's Bank. And unfortunately, the white supremacists ended up finessing a lot of our money when they saw how much money we had accumulated. When we start putting our money in the Freedmen Bank, they did some twists and turns and some finessing, and a lot of freedmen, foundational Black Americans, lost their money. That's why we got into the habit of putting money under mattresses and kind of hiding our money around the house because of that. And that's the genesis of that. But yeah, the Freedmen term, that goes back to the mid 1800s. Um, the Freedmen's Bureau, they ended up dissolving that, but they didn't dissolve the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They kept that going, but they dissolved the Freedmen's Bureau as a way to sabotage our progress. And when you look at some of the treaties, especially the Treaty of 1866, it talks about how the Native American tribes are supposed to allocate the same resources that they get from the government to the freedmen who were connected with these tribes. What they would also do, some of the black skinned Native Americans, they would also just label them as freedmen. And there were some black people who were enslaved who were labeled as freedmen in some of those treaties. So, but freedmen, that's one of the terms that we use in a legal sense, because when we are trying to get our reparations, we got to make sure every word is locked and loaded, because every word is a weapon, because they use words to weaponize against us. Freedmen, that's a phenomenal term to use in a legal sense when we're in the court, because they can't turn around and say, well, that's racial discrimination, because they'll try to play that game too. That's why they keep trying to let us or get us to make reparations race based. And we're saying, no, we're not making it race based. Watch out for people who sit up, well, reparations should be for all black people. Like Umar and other people are on that bullshit. And the dominant society, and they get people like N Cobra and all of them to be on some all black people need to get reparations. It should be for all black people. And we're saying no, no, no. The minute you go for that, it's going to immediately get shut down, because there's already laws in place that go against racially based preferential allocations of funds. So that won't work. That's why the race base will not work. That's why they keep trying to finesse us into doing it. And we're saying, no, we understand the game. We ain't going for that. It has to be lineage based, because when it's lineage based, you can't say that it's racially discriminatory, because we're talking about an aggrievement that happened to a specific lineage group. That's freedmen, descendants of slaves. Now, when we use the term foundational Black American, we're talking about it in a cultural sense. So we got to understand how to use words in different settings. That's how the dominant society gets down. They know how to codify words in different settings. When we're talking culture, we're talking about foundational Black Americans. When we get in that courtroom, then we start talking about.
Sure. Translate into which language? Sure. Translate into which language? I'm just going down an internet wormhole on rogue planets. It's a good way to pass time.
It's good, brother. How are you?
That's good, bro. I just got a few questions for you, man. I just want to know, what are you doing for the youth to get them on board, because that's going to be the ones that's going to pass the baton. You got to pass the baton to us. So I was wondering, what are you going to do for us to push forward to make sure this thing go as planned?
Well, yeah, if you look down, man, look in the comments. We got a lot of young people in here now. They're listening now. I've done a whole bunch of films that young people are watching. They show my movies in schools all around the country, all around the world. So we're reaching the youth. When y'all see people call in, a lot of them are young people. We got a lot of young folks in here now. Let me look. We got like over 1,000 people in here now. everybody who's in their teens or early 20s, raise your hand real quick. Let me see who's in here. Everybody in their teens or early 20s, raise your hands. Let me look in here because we have over 1,000 people in here right now. So all my people in their teens and early 20s. Okay, yeah, we got Tani on code. A lot of people. A caster. How old are you, a caster? Are you in your early 20s? All right. And I know T.S. Giselle didn't raise that hand. No, we're not talking about in woolly mammoth years. We're talking about in human years. All right. Um, Shout out to the teens and the youth. Shout out to you guys. All right. So let me get some more. Let's get what's your name? Lebo. Let's get Lebo.
Yeah. Hey, when the next documentary come out too, bro? You just made that click in my head. I wanted to ask that.
Oh yeah, the next one, microphone check, will be out in a few months. We're putting the finishing touches on it now. This is a
What's
month.
the what's the name of them other ones you came out? It's like 5, 6 of them motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. Hidden Colors 1 through
Yeah,
5,
Hidden Colors. That one.
Buck Breaking, American Maroon, just a whole bunch of them. We got a whole bunch of them. Let's get Mr. Sisiko. I think that's your name. Omar was Sissoko.
Hey, Tariq, how you guys
Yes, sir.
doing?
I'm good. Now, where you from, man?
From West Africa, Mali, Senegal,
There you go. Senegal. There you go.
French,
What's on your mind?
French speaking.
Okay.
We have our own version of reparation. We are moving forward with the liberation of Africa, creating a federation of African countries to become one country under one president with one
Mm,
currency, because the West African countries, we've been colonized by the French, and for the past 65 years, the currency we use in West Africa is owned by France. France has been
right.
looting the African countries by the tune
Yep.
of, $500 billion every year for the past 65 years. Everything France has been stolen from the African poor South African.
Who was that white man? Who was that white French man who was one of the commanders? It was a French white man who was the commander of the military out there for a minute, right?
What period you're talking about?
Kind of recently, right? It was if I'm not mistaken, it was a French white guy who was some kind of military head out there. I can't think of this guy's name for nothing.
During the
But
colonization, I mean, there were.
no, fairly recently. I'm talking about relatively recently,
Talking about
within the
the
last.
French president, he's one of the worst. He's worse than the Nazi Germany, because what happened to France during the Second World War, Nazi Germany gave them took over their currency and imposed a financial system, monetary system, and then after the Second World War, that's what France imposed on the West African countries for the past 65 years. So if you don't see any good school, any good road, and all this poverty is because of one entity, is because of France. France
Yeah,
has been looting Africa for the past 65 years. So we have our own way of getting our reparation. I agree with you. The reparation for the black people in America should be a lineage and a descendant of slave. You deserve it. You should be getting it if you get organized. You're taking the leadership, and you got to get the youth and everybody aware of it and demand it. And I'm kind of puzzled also at the same time that why the black people are always voting for the Democratic Party, and the Muslim community, I'm Muslim as well, always to the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party has failed the black community and the Muslim community the past 65 to 70 years. So, and that, and
yeah. And that's what we're getting on people about now, because see, we're told, a lot of black people are told, well, you gotta vote because your grandma fought for you to vote. So we start doing things just out of habit, even if it don't even work for us. It becomes a tradition, and we like to do things in a traditional manner. And now we're getting more politically astute, and we're kind of understanding the game a little bit better. And the Republican Party is no better. So the media uses the Republicans, boy, they're the real racists. The only time the white media here talks about racism is if they're pointing out the Republicans. And they've been using that psych op on us for the longest. Notice anytime they talk about racism in the media, they always have to dump it on the Republicans. Oh, look at this, these Nazis, that's Trump's America. They don't like to tell you about the Ed Bucks and the races on the left side and all of these um, Democratic run cities where black people are getting killed by the police and they don't do anything about it. These are Democrat run cities. They don't ever really point that out. So they've been playing this little game with us, and now we're starting to see, more of us are starting to see, I've seen it for a long time, we're starting to see the racism from the right and the left. Miss Lindsay, hop in, please.
Hi, Tariq. I'm just glad that young folks like yourself and a lot of other people on the platform is taking the lead. I'm a baby boomer, so we really failed, y'all. I'm just getting, it is what it is, and we're busy working in the '60s and '70s and '80s, and we lost foot of what was happening. And this is where we're at now. One of the things I'm glad that you spoke on was about, you talked about the Native Americans, and you were on your on YouTube, and you were talking to a lady, I can't remember what her name was, read something.
Yeah,
And
Indian Red. Yeah.
yeah, and so because now we see this invasion of immigrants coming in, and now it's like, okay, we're going to be at, we're really going to be at the bottom. And so now black folks, FBAs, the younger people is trying to find another way. Well, there is no other way. We are what we are. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
the younger people in my family really have done the research on my father's side. Go back to Isaac Scott, who was born in Virginia in 1724. And then on my mother's side, the Ballantines from Tennessee. So, and that was in the early 1800s, and
Mhm.
so they kind of lost track. But they're saying, but our great great grandmama, she moved from Mississippi to Tennessee, and she was Choctaw, and she was, so we can no, it is what it is. This is who we are. This is who we are. And when you kind of educated me, I'm gonna speak for myself, because it's like, okay, first of all, these red Indians is not going to accept us, okay, number one. And two,
Right.
I didn't realize that there were black Indian tribes that and as you say, they have already been infiltrated. So to say, like, look, we are FBAs, this is who we are. We've been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we have to stay on code and fight together. So I'm just glad that y'all young folks is doing what y'all are doing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? As a baby boomer, as I stated, we really failed y'all, so it's like the only thing we can do is support y'all, throw y'all some change, you know what I'm saying? And hey, and keep it pushing. But I
Thank
want
you.
to say thank you, honey. Thank you
Th-
so much.
Thank you so much, beloved. Now, the sister makes a good point. The sister makes a good point. The and because we got to get that shit straight too. Because see, when we talk about the foundational Black American movement is real heavy, and now a lot of people are mixing in some other shit with it, and then they're accusing all of us of being down with some of this other stuff. Well, y'all claiming Indians and all of that. No, 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 no. We're not saying we're Indians, because those Indian tribes have been busted up. Those Indian tribes have been busted. That's like us saying we're Yoruba. We're not Yoruba. Even if we were Igbo 800 years ago, we ain't now. That's why when people come to us and they, hey, y'all from West Africa, most likely you're from the the Hossa tribe. No, I ain't part of that tribe now. You understand? I can't go over there and get nothing. No, they don't. I'm not a part of that tribe now, because the tribes and those groups over there, they've been remixed so much, and different groups have been added to them, and groups have been taken away, and all of that stuff. Listen, Black people in America, fact, many of us have Native American ancestry. That's a fact. We've been here too long to not have it. All right? That is a fact. Many of us have Native American ancestry. Another fact, many of the Aboriginal people here were black-skinned people. That's another fact. Many of the Aboriginal people here, the natives, were red-skinned natives. You had different types of natives. You had the Mongolian-looking natives, I call them the Bering Strait natives, and you had the other black people who are Aboriginal people here. These are facts. Now, you got people who are running around here now. I ain't got no African DNA. I is all native. I is all Choctaw. Okay, all right. Listen, the white supremacists, they've infiltrated those tribes long ago. Those tribes have been infiltrated, remixed. The red and the black natives have been absorbed into white and black society. The white $5 Indians co-opted a lot of them tribes. Black folks yelling that they're Native American. You can do that on a cultural sense, but you're not gonna get nothing out of that. The only thing you get out of that is you go to the 1866 treaty and say, hey, look, I'm a freedman in one of those tribes. I need to get what's mine. That's the only way. And they're fighting us from doing that. They're fighting tooth and nail. Yes, there were black Native Americans. There were black Aboriginal people. But trying to get down with them tribes now, those tribes are completely infiltrated. Completely. I'm talking about all of them, like the Seminole, even them. And the Seminole meant runaway. The name Seminole means runaway. It was the black Seminoles that basically made the Seminole tribe what the Seminole tribe is. The unconquered. It was the black Seminoles that were the military arm of it. They were the ones defeating the U.S. Army. That was the black Seminoles doing that. That's what basically made you a Seminole, basically. The black mixture, the black people who were connected to that tribe. That was their identity. And now there's a video clip of the modern Seminole tribe out there in Oklahoma. Boy, the chief, and this clip might be a decade or so old, but the chief sounds like a damn white supremacist now. The chief of the Seminoles now, he sounds like Richard Spencer. They were telling him, somebody was a reporter, somebody was interviewing him saying, hey man, why y'all kick out all the black people? He was like, well, shit happens. And they were like, hey, but the black Seminoles were they were a part of your tribe. The black Seminoles were some of the main people stomping for the tribe. And this Indian tribal chief was basically, hey, they ain't now. All this money, they ain't getting none of this money that the federal government is getting. Hey, stuff happens. I mean, his attitude was real flippant, just like that. Yeah, I know what they did before, but this little piece of money we got ain't going to none of them. So that's how they're rolling with that now. So you try to penetrate that, good luck to you. It's a waste of time. You became a different ethnic group. Again, the white supremacists, they remixed a lot of people. A lot of these Native American tribes, they're remixes within themselves. You understand? Like the Creek Indians, that's a remix of the Muskogee and the Cherokee, and they just mixed a bunch of people up and then called them Creek. Out here in the West, the Plains Indians, it was one Indian group, the Dene tribe. They said, okay, y'all Navajo. You guys, the Creeks and some of these Aboriginal Negroes, y'all Seminoles. So a lot of these tribes have been remixed over and over again over the years. Again, on my broadcast the other day, I talked about the Jingaskin tribe out there in the Virginia. Black Indian tribe, Black Native American tribe had a reservation in the whole nine. And around the Nat Turner Rebellion, they got shook. They got scared because Black folks were turning up. And then you have this Negro looking tribe who were able to have guns sitting right here getting federal resources and federal land. They said, white people said, hey, you know what? You guys are free Negroes now. Damn that. We're going to detribalize you. You're free Negroes. Y'all scaring us with them guns. So there was a lot of remixing going on, and we became a different ethnic group. And that's what it is. Let me see. We got a lot of folks in here. Let's get Tony. Let's Tony. Tony's raising his hand. Mr. Tony, hop on, sir. Let's get Mr. Tony in here. All right, Tony, and then Ancient One. All right, Tony.
Hello?
What's up, Tony?
Yeah, man, I wanted to piggyback on what you was talking about. I work in a health field, man. I had an elderly woman tell me if you've ever heard of this, that in South Dakota, when a white woman would have a child out of wedlock, that the family would make her go live on an Indian reservation. Did you ever hear about that?
That's, well, they would always, I heard about them sending people away, but that sounds kind of accurate. She said the white woman or the child would be
No,
sent to their Indian
the white
reservation.
woman. So pretty much what she told me was she was raised on an Indian reservation because her mother had had her out of wedlock. So they both were sent to live on an Indian reservation. So yeah.
I haven't heard that one, but I do know that a lot of people were sent away if they had children out of wedlock. That was a common thing that happened back in those
Okay,
days.
cause I
So
was thinking that's where the inflated numbers come from, where you have all these white Indians. Cause she told me technically they would consider I guess her Indian, but she's like I don't have Indian in me. I was just raised on the reservation, so she's like I guess part of those numbers.
I haven't heard that. That sounds that I haven't heard that. There might be some $5 Indian talk because what they would do, they would pay to get connected with those Indian tribes. That's where the whole $5 Indian thing came in. White supremacists would go down to the Dawes Rose census takers and give them $5 under the table and get listed as a Native American so they can get free land. Yeah. Let me get Sincere the Love God in here. Brother Sincere, hop in. Let's get Mr. Sincere. All right. Ancient One, I thought I'd let you on. Ancient One, hop on. Where's Sincere now? Sincere, you here, brother? All right. Sincere is not here. Let's get Ancient One.
Brother Tariq, shout out to
What's up?
okay.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay, Tariq. I'm from out of Yonkers, New York. We call it the Six Barrel, a lot of us. I'm going through it with my brothers that I hang out with and stuff when it comes to microphone check.
Yeah.
So I told them when the movie come out, the documentary come out, I'm bringing all y'all there, and we're gonna shut y'all up. These are the brothers I grew up with.
Now, what are they saying?
Oh man, they going with the 50-50 crap, and these are all my brothers I grew up with. And it's disgusting.
Wow.
Yes. Now I have a question before you continue.
Go ahead.
When you push this out, I'm up in Westchester, right? When that come out, I got to go to the city.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big screening in New York. We're
In
gonna
New
have a
York.
real big, in Manhattan. We're gonna have a screening out there in Manhattan. So you got to come through.
I'm bringing them all. I
Yes,
got like
indeed.
5 of them. I just want to shut their mouth.
Oh yeah. This is gonna clear all that up because it wasn't no damn 50-50 at all. And dudes who say that, these are dudes who are trying to get at some Puerto Rican women. All right. Some of these dudes, they'll just sell the culture out just to get some exotic draws or what they think is exotic. But ain't no 50-50 at all. All right. Let's get D Delta. Let's get D Delta. D Delta. All right. D Delta, where you at, man?
What's up? What's up, Tariq? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing, Mr. Delta?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Hey, I watch your broadcast all the time, man. Big fan. I
Yes,
just
sir.
wanted to say, as far as the microphone check movie goes, I heard you said you had like 3 or 4 hours of content, but you were gonna like condense it into two. What are you gonna do with the rest
Yeah.
of the stuff that doesn't make it in the movie? Because I won't see all of it, to be
I,
honest.
oh man, you know what? Because a lot of folks ask me about footage that we don't use. I need to get a lot of the unused hidden color footage, man. There's a lot of unused footage from hidden colors that didn't make it in the movie. And hell, I can make a whole different film or film series out of the cut footage alone because we have to cut so much down. And with the uncut, well, with the cutout footage from Microphone Check, we might do a bonus, some bonus DVD, a bonus Blu-ray stuff. I don't know. What's up, Frenchie? Hop on, man.
How you doing, Tariq?
I'm good. How you doing, sir?
Man, that's crazy. Hey, yeah, I've been a fan of you for a long time now, man. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes, sir.
I just had a real quick question. Pretty much not on topic right now, but I just wanted to know, do you have any books to recommend for the brothers out here that kind of want to, tap into that, uh, history and things like that? Do you have any books to recommend?
I'm like, which part of history? Because there's so many books out there. I mean, just what part of history are you trying to? What do you
Just
have more interest in right now?
Black history mostly.
And it's so man, that's the thing. We have so much of a rich history.
Right.
It's not condensed in one book, man. That's the thing. You want to learn about black inventors, you can get books on Lewis Latimer, books on Granville T. Woods. There are entire books on John Robinson, one of the brothers who did aviation, who went over to Ethiopia to help them fight. There's a whole book about him. I mean, there's so many books about very specific topics. If you want to learn about the father of biochemistry, that's Booker T. Washington, not Booker T. I'm sorry, George Washington Carver. I'm sorry. There's entire books on him. There's not just one book. Um, if you want to start off with like a basic template with a fraction of information, you can go get the book Hidden History from A to Z, which is a children's young adult book, but it gives you a lot of basic game about just a fraction. Our history is deep, man. Our history can't be condensed in no one book. We've done too much. It's a series of books you got to study about our history. I mean, we are the history, family. That's the thing. See, the dominant society, they like to reduce our shit. And I used to think like that too, until a white dude at a library put me up on game because I did the same thing this gentleman did here. When I was a kid, I went to a library. I say, yeah, Mr. Librarian, point me to the Black history book section. And he broke it down. He's like, son, there's no Black history book. There's a lot of books in here on Black history. There's a whole bunch of them. This whole library has books on Black history. A white dude told me this. Now they'll try, some people will try to condense our stuff and, they'll try to break it down to just a section. But no, 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 no. Our history is deep. We are the history. You name something, our hand is in there. That's book worthy. And a lot of the books that hadn't been written. But we're in there. When we talk about aviation, people talk about the Wright brothers. They don't talk about the brother down in Louisiana who patented his aircraft before the Wright brothers. When we talk about electricity, you don't talk about Lewis Latimer. When we talk about bridge building, they don't like to talk about the Horace Kings. So we need to study a lot of stuff. See, a lot of good game you'll get from the white books because you'll find some white people who will tell the truth, especially in old books in the 1800s. Y'all got to go to the old books if you want to get white folks telling the truth. The people like David McRitchie's, the Ancient and Modern Britons. There's a white man who wrote a book telling the truth about the black people who populated Britain in ancient times. This white dude. Gerald Massey. These white dudes telling the truth. You know, our history is deep. All right, we got a lot of people in here. Shout out to everybody in here. Let me see. Let's get a couple of more people in here because speaking of microphone check, I got to go back to work on that. I work on that every day, tightening that up and getting it ready. Let's get one or two more good calls in here because we do have a lot of people in here. And I hope you guys are getting your Rootwork deodorant at rootworkstyle.com. Rootworkstyle.com, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get Josh Jelinski. All right, let's get Josh. Boy, that is the whitest name. Boy, that's a white name, Josh. But let's get Mr. Josh Jelinski in here. All right, Josh, you want to turn your microphone on? Oh, Josh bounced. Okay, he made a mistake and hit the button. He's like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to listen anonymously. My phone is messing up, dude. He thought he was listening anonymously. So shout out to Josh Jelinski. Let's get Corey P. Let's get Corey P in here. All right. Corey P.
What's good, man? How's it going? Yeah, out here in New York City. I donated to the Kickstarter actually for the
Oh,
microphone check.
thank you so much.
I reached out to you on email a couple of times. My family's friend was with Cool Herc out here in the city, and I emailed you him and his manager's info, but I haven't heard back from y'all.
Oh,
Want
I
to see
didn't
if
get the
y'all
email.
could probably, yeah, I sent that out to the Tariq Elite at .fm, whatnot, the .fm one, and also the museums one, but I didn't hear back from anybody. I've been emailing for a minute now, trying to reach you and get it to you so you can possibly get it in the movie, but his medical conditions kind of deteriorating a bit, so you might have to do it like over the phone or whatnot or via Zoom. But yeah, I sent that out, man. But nah, definitely support reparations, lineage based 100%, man. And the sabotage is real because they know it's coming very close. You know what I mean? So they
Yes, indeed.
trying everything in their power. And the only people who served the threat were really freedmen. So that's why they're flooding the zone with migrants right now. Like you said, creating that buffer class. So you got to really look out for that. Dr. Claude Anderson was correct. Reparations is needed. So
Yes, sir. My man, I appreciate
I
you. Thank you
email it
so much,
again
brother.
to you.
All right, thank you so much. All right. All right. Let me see. Where the ladies at, man? A lot of the ladies in here. We ain't had y'all on here. There's one sister in here. Where's she at? There's one sister. Where's she? I saw her. I was going to let her up because I wanted to kind of get a balance in here. All right, let's get Barry Akon. And then RMWJ. There she is. I see you, sister. I want to get some women in here. Barry Akon. Get Barry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Or what's up,
Hey,
brother?
what's going on, Tariq? Just had two questions real quick. Have you seen the Book of Clarence? And my second question is, how do you feel about the White House trying to bring back the conversation of paying off student debt? And I'm gonna land my plane.
Yeah, I haven't seen the book of. I got to see that. I've heard some other people talk about it, so I got to check that out. And that whole paying off student debt thing, that's another con game they're trying to get us to jump on the treadmill for. Miss RM, are you on a boat, beloved? What's going on with that notice, dear?
Oh, I stepped outside to sit in my car because my sons are in the house and I didn't want them to hear me talking. So it's pouring
Oh,
down out here.
oh, okay, man. What kind of car do you have? Do we need to get a GoFundMe for you, man? What kind of car
No,
is
I
that?
got an all electric Kia EV6. So
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
All right. What's
yeah.
on your
Thanks
mind?
for
What's on your
taking the
mind, dear?
call. I was calling because I noticed one thing that I noticed, and maybe you or someone else who's doing business. My my son, I have an 18-year-old son, and he watches a lot of like documentary, and he can tell me about everybody history but ours. So when you look at like the History Channel and this and that, they're not doing like Black history. So when I
Right.
listen to you, and you know you start roasting other people because they're talking about, oh, black people don't do nothing and we haven't made nothing, and you like one thing that really sticks in my head is when you talked about the ambulance people and
Oh yeah.
that history of that. And then like my son, he's 18, he wants to be an airline pilot. The story that you just told about the pilot, I think that we need a way, someone who could do this, put those things in a documentary. Hello. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here,
Yeah, put
dear. I'm
those
here.
things in some documentaries, some visual, because the kids aren't reading anything. They're watching everything. I mean, there wasn't even a lot of reading going on when I was a child, and I'm 50. So
Ma'am, hold on, because we've already done that, ma'am. Have y'all seen any of the Hidden Colors
I
movies?
seen one of the Hidden Colors. I did have the your FBA stream for a minute. So I did watch that, but I'm talking about like size down for kids, teenagers and things like that.
Kids can watch that. Man, your son needs to watch all. I have like
Hmm.
10 documentaries out talking about just what you're saying. Kids can watch it. They can get into it. He's 18. If he likes documentaries, this will pique his interest. We have Hidden Colors 1 through 5. We have a movie called Buck Breaking. We have a movie called 1804 about the history of Haiti. The new movie American Maroon that's out right now. So yeah, the movie's already out. He needs to be watching that right now. So it's already out. What's up? Um, I can't pronounce your name, brother. What's your name?
Scion Tut.
Okay. No, what's your name again, sir?
Scion Tut.
Sion.
Yes, sir.
Sion. Sion Tut.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sion Tut. Where you from, Sion
I'm
Tut?
from Los Angeles, man. I'm over here just Uber driving, working at the moment. But I've seen all the Hidden Colors, episodes and all the volumes, except for the last
Yeah.
one, I believe. I still got to get caught up with the last one. But
Okay.
I've been a watcher of your material for a long time. I'm an advocate myself and avid reader as well.
Yes, indeed.
But I just have a
Now,
quick question. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
go ahead. Now, where's your family from?
My family is my mother's from Arkansas. My father is from Alabama.
Okay, got it. But what's your question, brother? Go ahead.
So I wanted to ask you because I was kind of bothered by this, little situation when, dealing with the caucus. Anyhow, it's a long story, but I wanted to know the terminology of when, you've heard you people being referred to, as our people. How would you reflect on that if that's not too much to ask you, if that's not too
Like, would somebody use the term "you people"?
yeah, like you people, would that be something considered racist? And you know what I mean? How like the
It
word
could.
boy
It,
could be kind of demeaning or detrimental to speak on someone being lower level than you.
it could be, but I'm not even around white people like that who would even talk to me like that. So it's kind of foreign. Usually, in situations like that, you're at a job, and they know better than to use that on a job.
Hmm.
They kind of know better than to use terms like that. So it would be some kind of situation where you're at a numerical disadvantage for them to use that type of term when you're around, or if are you dating a white girl or something? Because her family might say some bullshit like that.
Nah,
So
my girl, she's actually half Egyptian and white. You can consider her white,
okay,
but she was born in Africa. She was born in Egypt. Speaks a little bit of
yeah,
Arabic herself, so
yeah, she's an Arab. Yeah, she's
she's
an
an
Arab.
Arab.
She's a white girl Arab.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's an
yeah, exactly. So,
Arab.
um, but she you know looks at herself as being African American. I suppose
See, yeah, but she ain't. Well, no, yeah, technically she's African American. I
technically,
can't say she's not
technically, yeah,
technically, but she's not a foundational Black
exactly,
American. See,
exactly,
that's the thing.
right,
But yeah, if her family is talking greasy, I mean, stay away from them.
right,
Stay away from that family, and
right,
you'll be all right. But see, thank you so much for the call. And see, that's why we use the term foundational Black American. You see, that's why, because people can come over from Africa who identify as white because of, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on 1 second. 1 second. What the hell my kids doing outside? Mhm. Okay, hold on. Let me get CC Freedmen. CC Freedmen, hop on. Hop on, CC.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm good, dear.
I'm
How are you?
good. I stepped away for a second. Excuse me, I stepped away for a second. What did you say about the student loans?
What did I say about the student loan? Shit, I don't remember. What did I say? Oh yeah. One of the callers said that the Biden administration was talking about that whole we're going to do the student loan forgiveness con that they would,
No, they did
you know how
it.
they.
They did it. I got mine forgiven.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, you have to
okay,
apply. If you guys, whoever has student loans, call the Department of Education, and they'll tell you who's currently holding your loans, and if you qualify, they forgive it. And I'm telling you,
oh,
Tariq,
okay.
mine was damn near 80,000.
Oh,
Oh
damn,
yeah,
damn.
I'm a happy camper.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they. But I ain't got those student loans, so they're gonna have to give me something else. So
The reparations. Oh,
yeah, they got
oh,
to give me a check.
oh,
Yeah,
oh, you ready?
yeah.
Rally for reparations. Rally for reparations. Let's do it.
Oh, I'm still kicking the can around to think about it. But anyway,
Okay,
all right, let
thank
me get
you.
some more. Thank you,
Uh-huh.
dear. Well, yeah, they gotta, yeah, they gonna have to break me off something if they want me to vote. I ain't got no loans to forgive, so yeah, they're gonna have to let me hold something my ancestors didn't have when they were being enslaved and exploited for money. They didn't forgive that, so they need to get that to me. Like that money and those resources have been passed down. That money didn't disappear. That money has been compounding over and over again for the last couple of 100 years. So I'm gonna have to get that. Yeah.